Okay. So in the last class, we discussed about the course orientation and all the prerequisite syllabus and everything, and also the first two topics of the first unit was also discussed. So today, just let us have a glance of what we discussed, and then we can just for 5 minutes, and then we can go with the new topics as well. Fine. So this is the part one of unit one. And after completion of this, another part also, second part also, unit one I divided into two parts. So once we complete all the topics within the first part, then we can go to the second part. So the topics covered in this particular part are these are the topics which are part of the first unit: introduction to engineering design, design process, and computer-aided design, computer as an aid to design engineer, CAD tools, geometric modeling techniques, all these things. Okay. Of course, geometric in all these things, geometric modeling techniques is somewhat important topic with respect to the exam point of view. But in order to understand that, even all the prior topics also need to be understood well. So, of course, two topics were already discussed, and even we discussed about this particular flow chart of a typical product cycle. This particular diagram, I took it from the second textbook, which is CAD/CAM theory by Ibrahim Zeid. Uh, there's this and another kind of diagram also I showed you, that is from the first textbook. So sometimes textbooks do show the diagrams in a different manner, but the background concept is always the same. Some of the others may think that some phases need to be elaborated, and some others may think in another way. So it doesn't mean that the flow chart is different. Only for the sake of letting you understand, I took this as one of the reference. Of course, I also showed you the other flow chart as well. So if you look at this particular flow chart, if you look at here, the pink colored, let me use the pen here. If you use this pink color loop, that pink color loop, he is calling it as a synthesis. Try to understand. The pink color loop, he is calling it as a synthesis. This particular author, okay, which means, and what do you mean by CAD process? All the horizontal second row, whatever six phases are there, all the six phases he is calling it as a CAD process, which means some concepts of conceptualization and modeling, analysis, optimization, evaluation, and design documentation. All these six phases are coming under CAD process. So if someone asks you to explain about CAD process, probably you can explain the all these phases in the same sequence, no issue at all. And apart from that, there is another cyan color dotted line here, small one, which is subset of CAD process, which he is calling it as an analysis. So analysis is subset of CAD process. You need to understand this. Okay. Why? Because if you look at the analysis again, there is a design analysis, design optimization, evaluation, and documentation and communication. All these things he is calling it as a analysis. Apart from this, even the excuse me, the prior two phases also belong to CAD process. So all the six belong to CAD process. Why? When you can say something belong to CAD is simply, it is very simple. Whenever you are using some graphical interface and also some kind of modeling tool and also some kind of geometric modeling, okay, some tool is required, some modeling technique is required, and also some graphical interface, graphical concepts also need to be there. So if you look at all the 6 phases, in every phase, the users or the engineers do work with some kind of 3D model. Okay, a 3D model can be represented in different way that we will discuss after in the subsequent topics. So in all these 6 phases, the users or the designers or the engineers, they do work with a CAD model. So whether it is whether it comes under synthesis or whether it comes under analysis, as long as the user works with a tool and graphical interface and also some 3D modeling technique, then it comes under CAD process. So you need to be clear about the CAD process. So and first row as well as second row together, we are calling it as a design process. So depending upon the question, you need to answer. Okay. Now coming to the similar kind of flow chart provided by Zimmer and Groover. This is also one of the very famous textbook, which is the first textbook as per the syllabus. So here he showed the same cycle. He clubbed some of the phases. For example, product concept, design, engineering, drafting. If you look at three, he just showed you only 3 phases, 3 key phases, which is nothing but all the up to design conceptualization, 1 2 3 4, up to design conceptualization he clubbed, and he's saying that it's nothing but product concept. And design engineering is not only the modeling but also analysis, all these of course in the analysis he is leaving this part, design documentation and communication he is leaving. If you look at here, one, design modeling, analysis, optimization, and evaluation. All these 4 phases he clubbed together, and he is saying that it is a design engineering. And then drafting. Drafting is nothing but design documentation communication with respect to the previous flow chart. And then process planning, we are not bothered about all these things. So, so both the cycles do explain in the same way. Only thing is, some of the phases are more elaborated in some of the pictures. And now, if you look at this picture, the first picture tells you about the different functionalities of a typical manufacturing industry, and whereas the second picture is nothing but making use of a computer, how engineers are using computer as an aid to complete these different functions of a manufacturing industry. For example, computer aided design, CAD, using CAD tools. CAD tools can be used for the development of the concept or for the design engineering, and also to provide information to the another computer aided drafting and documentation tool. So the outer all the outer parts are a kind of computer aided works, computer aided technologies or computer aided works, which are helping to complete these functionalities within the within the workflow. Okay. So, and coming to the engineering design, try to understand, try to remember the term as well, engineering design. Okay, as I told you, engineering design is a kind of a creative process. It's a creative process. Okay, which means generally people use this particular term for concept development. Okay, people use this particular term for concept development. That's the reason problem definition, creative process, analytical process, prototype development and testing up to the concept so that whatever the thought that a particular person is having, that thought or idea has to be engineered or calculated, or finally he should come up with a analyzable product as well as tested product. Of course, we are calling it as a prototype. Prototype doesn't mean that that's the actual final product. Please try to understand there is a lot of difference between a prototype. Prototype generally people use it only to understand how your idea, how the solution for a particular problem would be. If you are satisfied with your prototype, then only production you can think about the production. Of course, again, production is there are varieties of production, mass production, batch production. Depending upon the type of production, again the prototype needs to be further analyzed or the entire process would also be again 3D modeling. All these analysis again would be repeated depending upon the type of production and manufacturing facilities and so many other constraints that the industry is having. Okay, so engineering design, generally this particular term we use it for the concept making, whereas if you look at the design process and CAD, if you look at the design process and CAD, as uh, uh, I want you to remember the terms. I want you to remember the terms so that you don't get confused between the terms, or when our question is asked, you don't need to get confused. So here we are calling it as a design process and also the CAD. Design process, again, just like this particular diagram is taken from the first textbook. If you look at the design process, he is calling it as, starting from the recognition of the need, problem definition, and then synthesis, and then analysis, evaluation, presentation. All the phases he showed in a vertical manner. And then for example, for synthesis, synthesis means whatever the ideas, whatever the definition that you are having, and also the feedback from the analysis, or feedback from the you get some feedback. So all the information, you are going to club it, and then you are trying to develop something here, a kind of a 3D model you are going to develop, which is an evaluation. It's a kind of a cyclic process, taking information from different different departments, or different people, and then the 3D model is actually evolving. Synthesis is a kind of a evolution of a particular model. So for that, the corresponding CAD tool is, we are calling it as a geometric modeling. So geometric modeling is the term, is a CAD term, computer aided design related term. So geometric modeling, we are using it for the synthesis purpose. So geometric modeling tools may be different. Okay, CAD tools which are required. There are many tools for geometric modeling. For example, if you look at here, geometric modeling, as I showed you in the previous PPT, you do sketching, you do 3D modeling, all these things you are going to develop. And then if you look at the first vertical is nothing but the design process, and the corresponding second vertical is nothing but all the various CAD technologies to help these design process. Okay, to work for the design process. And similarly, analysis and optimization is the term that we are using in a design process. In order to accomplish this particular analysis and optimization, the corresponding CAD term that we are using it as engineering analysis. So engineering analysis, as I showed you in the previous PPT, the varieties of analysis that you need to perform: continuously kinematic analysis, or crash test. Someone in the last class whether crash test can also be performed. Yes, it is all kinds of analysis you can perform in the computer itself. No need to do the destructive testing like before. Now also the people do destructive testing, but the number of components that you need to destruct are drastically reduced a lot now compared to the olden days. So which is helping the industries to reduce the overall cost as well as to reduce the time. Okay, and now once you are okay with the analysis, then you are going to evaluate. Evaluation is next part of the design process. How do you evaluate? Yeah, there is a CAD technology called design review and evaluation. So there are many CAD tools are available which are exclusively for design review and evaluation also. So evaluation is, as I told you, kinematic analysis, or sometimes what happens is, in some of the previous analysis, like structural analysis or crash analysis, some of the analysis, the product may be successful, but you may left some of the things still need to be evaluated in further phases. For example, interference test is one, and a kind of simulation. For example, if you look at this particular picture, nowadays it is possible without even without even manufacturing the final product. For example, if you look, this particular person is with the help of virtual reality technique, he can see how the For example, if you look this like this is looking like a car, right? Internal interior of a car. The person can really see how the car looks like, even though the car is not yet manufactured. Still, by using the 3D model, by using the different technologies for review process and evaluation, we can actually evaluate whether the product is up to the mark or not. Okay, the product might be successful in the prior analysis, but it may fail during the further final review and evaluation. There are many evaluation techniques are available. Another one is interference check and all. So interference check is something like, different, the company may purchase its components from its various suppliers. So finally, once they try to assemble during the assembly, the company may face a lot of troubles. One assembly may get interfered with another assembly. So all those things are possible to check in the computer itself before even going for the actual production. So all such kind of review process and also tolerances. There are many kinds of analysis for the help the engineers to review as well as evaluate your idea after engineering analysis. And then once you're okay with the here also, if you find any mistake, there is a feedback process which goes to the synthesis, which means again the design engineer has to work on the geometric model, and again he has to modify it, and further all these things will continue. And then once the evaluation is done, once you are okay, all the analysis checks and everything is done, if it is successful, if the product is successful, then you can go for the automated drafting, where different production drawings can also be automatically generated from the 3D model after finalizing the 3D model, of course. Different which are automated drafting. These help you, automatically generate different types of isometric. Already know different types of drawings and all. Do help the production engineer manufacturing purposes. So from the 3D model, it takes the 3D model and then converts into the 2D drafts. Okay. So, and then of course it goes to the all these things will be compiled, and you call it as a presentation, which will send it to the CAM, computer aided manufacturing, as a subject. Okay, I hope you are following. Now this slide I already showed you computer as an aid to design. How many things in how many ways computer can help for the design, and also apart from the design, in how many ways it can help. Different computer tools are there. This slide is already shown, explained in the previous slide. Now going to the next slide. Now CAD tool, as I told you before, CAD tool. Okay, there are varieties of CAD tools are available. Whatever may be the kind of tool, the tool should support it's a combination. If you look at this one, it's a Venn diagram. So CAD tool is a kind of a intersection of all these three sets. One is which is nothing but CAD tool is a combination of certain computer graphic concepts. It is also having some design tool. It is also following some geometric modeling techniques. Okay, so this is the diagram which helps you to explain to define the CAD tools based on the constituents. Okay, these are the three constituents of any CAD tool. Whereas if I want to implement a CAD tool, for example, Pro-E or Creo or Unigraphics, some CAD tool, AutoCAD, for example, if I want to implement on a computer, then design tool, which is nothing but your application, CAD application, and where you are going to implement on a computer, and what type of computer that you need to definitely the computer also should support certain minimal configuration, without which the tool may not be in a position to work properly. So in the implementation point of view, the computer also do require certain software as well as a hardware. Okay, software is something like a graphic drives. Okay, and modeling application. Certain minimal software should be there for the computer, as well as from the hardware point of view also. It may be having certain constraints. Nowadays, we are calling it like different tools. A minimum 4 GB is required. One graphic card is required of this much specification, like that input output devices. So this is how I can define a CAD tool based on implementation. Okay. Now, coming to the some of the commercial CAD systems and tools, if you take a 2D CAD system, which is of course, on the right side, you can see different interfaces. Some of the interfaces might be, might have changed now. For example, if you look at it is a Pro E interface. Nowadays, it's not, the Pro E name is renamed to Creo. Okay. So some of the pictures are maybe kind of old, but still I can understand that different interfaces are there for different tools. If you look at the 2D CAD system, which is exclusively for the 2D drawings, which is a very, very fundamental, very base level of AutoCAD. For example, you would have learned AutoCAD in your second year level. That is majorly useful for the development of 2D drawings rather 3D models. Why? Because it is having very so many limitations for the 3D model development. Okay, whereas it is very, very a specialist in developing 2D draftings. So such and similarly, MicroStation of Bentley system is another 2D CAD system. And now there are mid-range 3D CAD systems. All these words you can remember. These are all different CAD tools. In our CAD lab also we have plenty of these tools which you can make use in in your projects or in the subsequent lab you are going to learn. So mid-range 3D CAD systems are there. Inventor, I think we are having Inventor also, and SolidWorks of Dassault Corporation, Solid Edge of Siemens. These are all mid-range. They won't. They're okay. Okay. They too can do a lot of tasks, but they may not have some special icons and special tools, and the customization also maybe the lot of customization may need to be developed in order to facilitate some special tools for mid-range. But some of the companies do use mid-range. Why? Because their cost would be somewhat lesser, and if the company feels that whatever the options that are available within the mid-range 3D CAD system, if the company is okay with those options, and if the company is not at all going to use any it's not require any special tools, then they can happily go with the mid-range CAD system. Why? Because their cost is low when compared to the high-end CAD system. Okay, if you look at the high-end CAD system, which are sophisticated with so many functions and so many features, and they do a lot of research. They generally do work with multinational companies, and they try to accommodate each and every feature within their system. And Creo of PTC, CATIA of Dassault, Unigraphics, NX of UGC. These three are some. Okay, there are many in each category. There are many such kind of tools. I'm just explaining you some of the tools. Okay, which are more popular. And now, of course, we have Creo in our lab. We have CATIA. Okay, uh, and we have Inventor. We have AutoCAD. I think we have SolidWorks also in through one of the APS SDC program. Okay. Now analysis, even for analysis, as I told you, analysis also there are certain CAD tools are available, and we have ANSYS, which is one of the famous analysis tool. We don't have HyperMesh, but we are trying to look for which is one for our institution, for our department. Okay. So I hope you are understanding whatever that. These are all commercial CAD systems and tools. And now the fifth topic of the today's session is geometric modeling techniques. As I told you, this topic is somewhat important for the exam point of view. Okay, I want you to listen carefully. And geometric modeling technique. Okay, there are as I told you, geometric modeling is something like uh, uh, the engineer may be having some idea about a particular product, and he wants to uh, put that idea in a computer. He wants to show that particular idea in a computer. Why? Because in the computer it will be easy for me to modify. It will be, the files can be, I can share my ideas with others rather than saying something. It would be easy for you to give a 3D model kind of thing. Okay, Rather than trying to explain so many details about your idea, why can't you create a 3D model? Why can't you create a 3D model and circulate with your friends and then try to discuss about your idea? That would be very, very easy. And that is how all the geometric modeling techniques, different types of geometric modeling techniques got evolved since 1970s. So the first, in olden days like 1960s and 1970s, the initial engineers and scientists, they started showing their ideas with the help of wireframe modeling. Okay, for example, if you look at the bottom picture, same solid. In the first picture, it is being developed using wireframe. The first model, you call it as a wireframe model, okay, or also called as a line modeling. And the second model, of course, the idea is same, but it is represented with only surfaces. Okay, the third, it is next evolution is the third one, which is a solid. Okay, so the comparison of all these three modeling techniques, it's an evolution. Okay, evolution of modeling techniques. So if you look at the wireframe modeling, if you look at the wireframe modeling, I don't need to tell you what the requirement of geometric model. So far, whatever that we discussed, everything is the requirement of a geometric model. So now, if you look at the line modeling or wireframe modeling, your idea actually, the entire model, only the edges, whatever the edges of the, whatever the edges of the model, all those edges you are actually creating, and you are trying to understand using edges about the model. The coordinates of different points need to be considered first, and using, for example, P1 is one point, P2 is another point. You are going to create a straight line passing through P1 and P2, and then P2 to P3. All the edges alone do edges alone would be created, and your model is simply a combination of so many straight lines. And that was the initial days of geometric modeling technique during almost like the 1970s. That was the technology, due to many limitations from the graphics side and many other situations, other constraints. Okay, if you as I'm telling you, talking about wireframe modeling, so look at here, one of the model, one of the solid model, if you try to show with try to develop your that model with a wireframe, this is how it will be. Of course, it's a solid model. Your idea is a solid, your idea, your thought is a solid, but if you use wireframe modeling technique to represent your thought, then it looks like this. So your model do have only straight lines, curves, all 2D curve entities, different curve entities. All these entities, you call it as a curve entities. Okay, even spline is also a kind of curve entity. So that is how it will be. So what are the problem with this kind of wireframe modeling? It is simple. It is difficult for me. It is ambiguous to interpret. In many cases, it is difficult for you to interpret how the solid looks like if you use only wireframe modeling technique. Okay, and also impossible objects also you can simply model it. Okay, for example, if you look at this particular picture, look at here, the first picture here. This particular picture can be interpreted in many ways like this. One picture can be interpreted in many ways, and also hidden line removal is also difficult if you use a wireframe model. Why? Because the computer cannot understand which one is a hidden line, hidden edge, or which one is the frontier edge. The computer cannot understand. It simply takes the coordinates from the user interface and simply creates all varieties of straight lines. If you look at the second picture, see, look at this all the different edges. But in reality, the kind of solid model, is it possible? No, it is not at all possible. It is not at all possible. Even if you look at this picture, it's a wireframe model. But is it really possible to have a wireframe model like this? Is it really to have a model like this, 3D model like this? No, you cannot manufacture a 3D model like this. But you can actually create a wireframe model for even for the impossible objects also. So like that, there are certain limitations. So ambiguity to represent, sorry, ambiguity to interpret, and impossible objects can also be modeled, and no surface, solid, and solid data. Try to understand. If I create a wireframe model for an idea, then I am only having all the edges and curve information of the solid model. I am not at all going to have any kind of surfaces and what are the internal, internal volume, masses, all such kind of data I cannot calculate. If someone asks me to what is the overall surface area so that I want to paint this particular object, no, it is not possible. I cannot calculate the surface data. Why? Because I don't have that information with me. If someone asks you what is the weight of this particular component, no, I cannot calculate. Why? Because I don't know I cannot calculate the volume. So it is having only edges and curves of the object. It cannot include the surface and solid. Even the sections, interferences, NC code generation, automatic generation of drawings, all these things are not possible if I use a wireframe model. Okay, and now coming to the surface model, which is another geometric modeling technique, which is evolution, which evolved from the previous wireframe limitations of the wireframe model. People started going for the next level, which is a surface model. Here also, if you look at it, the same kind of solid. Now, after creating the straight lines, now they also try to develop certain logics or some mathematical techniques which can identify whether all the lines can belong to a closed loop, and if it is a closed loop, then what is the area of it. So like that, some additional techniques also got developed subsequently on top of the wireframe model. So even this also this also has the edge information. On top of the edges, it can also accommodate the surface information also. Okay, but apart from the surfaces, it cannot talk about the internal mass or internal volume. Why? Because it is not the surface model cannot accommodate the volume related details or the real solid part of the real internal core of the outer periphery. It cannot accommodate or it cannot calculate. So there are certain limitations, but it is somewhat better when compared to the wireframe model. But is it totally useless? No. Even nowadays, even still, some of the companies are using they use surface model for their works. For example, surface model, you must need to use surface model for certain cases, like if you look at all these pictures are surface models which are still we are the world is using. For example, if the outer surface of the car, it's a surface model only, it's not a solid model. If you just apply thickness to this, that would become the real part. So it's a surface model. Even if you look at these two faces, a lot of really animated movies do use surface models. They don't bother about internal parts, what is the heart and how the heart looks like, how the heart is functioning, or where is the brain. They don't bother about that. Your requirement is only to show a picture, show some kind of animation. So animation doesn't require all the internal features and all the functionality. It's not required. Only the surface related information, if you can accommodate properly, that is good enough. And another beauty of surface modeling is surface models can show the object as if it is the real object. At the same time, the memory the surface model occupies is very less when compared to the real solid model. Even if you look at the our globe, okay, our maps, if you look at Google Maps, if I keep on zooming it, I can see each and every surface detail. Google Maps doesn't bother about what is inside Earth and what are all the internal parts of Earth. All these things are not required. My intention is only to understand how the outer surface of the entire globe looks like. So still people use surface models, and there are many applications for the surface models even even now. Okay, but what are the limitations? Are there any limitations for the surface models? Yes, from an engineer point of view, from a manufacturer point of view, even surface model also cannot show certain you know, it cannot develop sections, cross sections, interferences, NC code generation, automatic generation of the drawings. All these things are still not possible as long as the surface model cannot talk about the internal core of the model or the object. Okay, now coming to the solid model is nowadays that people are using creating solid models a lot. Why? Because the solid models can really behave. They can behave exactly like the real object. How they can behave like a real object? It's very simple. Even now the 3D model, the solid model, is considering the internal portions, internal parts also. For example, the outer, if you look at the outer part of the engine, so some fins are there, and you can apply some thickness. The thickness is also varying. I can see the cross section. Why? Because this is a solid model. The model is able to consider the internal portion also. I can apply certain material for this, and I can ask the computer to calculate what would be the weight of this particular outer portion of the engine. I can ask, and I can apply so many other mechanical properties, and I can ask the computer to do certain analysis. For all kinds of analysis, 3D solid model is the key. Whereas the prior modeling techniques, they are not at all good for the analysis purpose. Why? Because they are only showing you, they are only for the to show your idea. They are not they cannot behave like a real object. So whereas solid model can really behave like a real object, and each and everything, different properties, different materials I can apply for each and every component, and I can simulate also. For example, if I rotate this crankshaft, automatically the engine piston will be reciprocated. All such kind of animations are possible, and if I can calculate I can apply thermal analysis when it is rotating at a particular speed, how the cylinder is behaving, how the temperature is being distributed across various parts of the cylinders. Everything is possible. Why? Because it behaves like a real part, real object. Okay. And now, as I told you, generation of orthographic views from solid model is possible if you use a 3D solid model. Okay, for example, certain CAD tools. For example, if you look at this particular picture, this pattern, if you create a 3D solid model of a pattern, then computer can automatically generate all these three views, orthographic views. You can ask the computer to show the front view, top view, and side view. It will automatically. Why? Because it is having each and every detail about a solid model, and it can also show you the sections. Okay, you can ask the computer by providing a section line. You can ask the computer to show how the section looks like. Everything is possible in case of 3D. Similarly, coming to the sections, if you do sectioning of a wireframe model, of a surface model, of a solid model, how the section looks like, it is simple. The same object, if you look at here, this is the section plane. The same object, if it is modeled with the help of wireframe, then its section would be like this. Only couple of points I can see. Only points I can see as a section of this particular object. Okay. Why I am able to see only points? Why? Because this is a wireframe model. The first one is a wireframe model, which got sections do have only lines and edges related information only. So this is a line, this is another line. So only when I'm trying to intersect a line with a plane, I get only point. Similarly, if I take a surface, so surface model, the same object, if I develop a surface model not only the edges information, but also it considers the surface area. That is the reason able to see not only the 2 points but also the internal line. Why? Because the intersection of a surface with another surface is always a straight line. So I can also see a straight lines like this. But though all these straight lines are forming a closed loop, still I cannot calculate what is the cross section area. I cannot calculate. Why? Because I have only surface and the edges information. I don't have the internal detail of the object in case of a surface model as well. Whereas if you consider a 3D solid model of the same object, then not only the points, not only the edges, but also it can calculate the cross sectional area as well. Why? Because I am cutting a volume with a surface. I am cutting a volume with a surface, so I get an area. Okay. So like that, there are certain advantages and limitations, and you can compare all these three like this. This table will really help you a lot. Okay, I want you, all these, most of the things I already discussed. Okay, and probably computer memory space. If you look at the first parameter, computer memory space required, it is very less in case of wireframe model. Why? Because we are accommodating only straight lines, coordinates, and all these things, and somewhat moderate in case of a surface model, and very large in case of a solid model. Why? So that is the computer memory space required for the same object in three different modeling techniques. Now entities used are points, straight lines, circles, arcs, ellipse. All these are called as a curve entities. As I told you, all these are called as a curve entities. And we are going to study about all these curve entities in the second unit. And similarly, surface model. If you want to develop a surface model, on top of these curve entities, you can use plane, revolved, ruled, tabulated, freeform surface, different types of surfaces also. Such kind of options also would be there on the CAD tool. These are surface, you can create directly surfaces as well. Okay. And if you look at the solid model, solid model, so the kind of entities the CAD tool they use, or the kind of options that I can use are, apart from on top of these tools, I can also directly create a cone, I can create a cube, I can create a wedge, I can directly create a cylinder, sphere. These are solid primitives. Directly solids also I can create. Okay. And on top of this, I can apply, how to apply Boolean operations. There are two different techniques are available to come up with the final solid model by using the primitives. We discuss about all the things in the subsequent things. And input data required is more. Input data. In the first one, we were talking about a computer space, memory space of a particular file. Whereas the third one is input data. Input data means from the user side, I'm actually giving the input, right? Whoever is trying to create a model object, he is. So input data is more here. Input data is more. Why? Because you have to provide the each and every coordinate from the coordinates lines. If you imagine a very complex object, then the kind of information that a user has to provide in, if he wants to develop a wireframe model is enormous. So many coordinates, so many points you have to enter manually. So input data is more, whereas input data is moderate, input data is less. Why? Because directly I can say create a cube, create a cylinder of base radius this much, height this much. So automatically it will create the cylinder for you. I don't need to generate all the circles and then edges, all the data is not required. Okay. And in case of solid model, it can really treat it like a real solid also. Okay. And automatic orthographic perspective isometric view generation. Orthographic automatically you can generate. I showed you in the previous picture, right? So it is totally impossible in the first two cases, whereas it is possible only if you use a solid model. Similarly, NC code generation, which is for computer aided manufacturing purposes. So it is not possible in case of here. Somewhat automatic is possible is in both the surface and solid model. Okay, depending upon the type of model. Why? Because in some of the cases, only if your requirement is only to play a surface, even in the surface model also would be sufficient to generate a NC code. And interference between mating parts. Okay, it is not possible. Cannot it can detect here. Of course, the kind of detection is different in case of a surface model and in case of a solid model, but still they can detect. But whereas in case of wireframe model, it cannot detect at all. Whereas in case of surface model, surface to surface interference it can detect. Whereas solid model, on top of surface to surface detection, it can also detect solid to solid interference as well. So like that, there are certain parameters are available, almost around 13 parameters, and all the comparisons are also discussed. Okay, so with this I would like to uh, close today's session, and we have almost like 13 minutes for queries. Okay, and any queries, and I would like to show one or two videos as well regarding the crash analysis. Okay, and all the remaining parameters also you can easily understand. For example, elimination of hidden lines, elimination of hidden lines, hidden line removal. If you take any object, definitely certain edges are hidden. Okay, certain edges are visible to the viewer. So those hidden edges need to be eliminated, otherwise it leads to unnecessary confusion for the user. So elimination of hidden lines, it cannot be possible in case of wireframe model, but if you want to eliminate it, you have to manually pick those lines, and you have to remove those lines. So manually you need to do, and it may be possible in case of a surface model, but it is possible in case of a solid model. Why it is said like may be possible? Such kind of you know depend that purely depends upon the kind of tool. Okay, the tool should accommodate such kind of options depending upon the different types of surface models. And now calculation of physical properties such as volume, surface area, center of gravity, moment of inertia, all such kind of things are not at all possible to calculate some properties in case of surface, which means surface related information can be possible, which means like a surface area or area moment of inertia, all area related information can be calculated here, whereas any kind of property can be accommodated if you use a solid modeling technique. Design parameter optimization is not possible in for the first two cases, and it is possible. Design parameter which means for the design sometimes you may use certain parameters for your design for your geometric modeling. So if you want to optimize all those parameters, many algorithms need to be written, and all the algorithms need to be solved to optimize the model or optimize the parameters. So it is possible only in case of a solid model. And now coming to the generation of assembly and detailed drawing from model, you can see first two impossible, whereas it is possible. CAD/CAM CAE modules. As I told you, computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing, computer-aided engineering. Okay. As I told you, computer-aided engineering is nothing but analysis. Okay. For analysis purpose, definitely 3D solid model is must. Whereas some of the things like drafting or very few modules can be accommodated over surface model, but whereas wireframe model, if you take it, drafting is possible. As I told you, AutoCAD, all the things are drafting, right? So drafting, we use only 2D curves. All your drawings are basically 2D curves, which are nothing but wireframe model. Okay, so drafting, if your requirement is only purely drafting, then wireframe model is sufficient. On top of that, some surface designing, here I need to write surface design, of course. If your requirement is surface design as well as drafting, then you can go with the surface model. If your requirement is to do all varieties of modules, then go with the solid model. Okay, so